What's up again, everybody? I don't know if this happens to you, but this happens to me fairly often. I will, throughout the course of my Dice Masters career, I will lock on to specific teams and just play those and make changes to those and iterate upon those over and over and over again. I'll just like really get focused and interested in like one specific team for a longer period of time than what you would normally play like a team for. So for example, like back in like I think it's 2016 or 2017, I played King Black Bolt teams a ton. I also played a lot of like Lord of Contagion teams, trying to make the removal of sidekicks and buffing my field a thing, because I just found that super interesting. With more recent sets, I was really on the Black Canary Owlman bandwagon, where you tried to make everything a villain and then make all of your villains on their side of the field unable to block by fielding Black Canary. You know, that was really cool. And now I'm on to this. This is the team. Let me show you what I've been like most interested into lately. And it involves this card that I've just consider one of the most hilariously fun cards in the entire game. Domino, I've talked about it a ton, not really a party girl. Domino, not really a party girl, is a 3-cost shield character, X-Men affiliated, an 022, 132, 152 stat line, which is crazy good. Energize, deal 1 damage to target opponent and re-roll this die. And Energize is a keyword that says whenever you roll this die on its double energy face, then you use the effect, right? So essentially, you're just looking to roll a domino die. I have it here because I was literally just playing this fairly recently. On the double shield side, okay? You roll it on the double shield side 1/3 of the time. When that happens, you get to deal a damage to your opponent and then re-roll it. Now that also means that if you re-rolled this double shield and then it came up double shield, it would use the Energize effect again, dealing another damage, re-rolling it, double shield, damage again, right? You get the picture. So you can get this crazy, hilarious chain where it just keeps going into the double energy side and you keep energizing. So this card is stupid good in just a fun, casual sense. And I wanted to build a team around it that basically just meant that I rolled this like 20 times to win the game, because I think that's hilarious. And I finally just said, you know what? I'm going to sit down and make that team. So let me show you what I came up with. I've already made this team, but I'm going to walk you through my thought processes because I found it really interesting build-wise. So how do you re-roll this domino over and over and over again? Well, one of the ways that you can do that is with this card, Atlantis. One of the new Atlantis says, move any of the number of the dice that you rolled during your roll and re-roll step from your reserve to your prep area. And then on the burst, double burst, it also preps you a die from the bag. It's got a great global as well. It says field a sidekick from your used pile and put it in your prep area, and then field a different sidekick from your used pile onto the field, of course. So you move one and then you prep one. Sorry, you prep one and then you field one. That's what I meant to say. But you pay a fist and a shield for that. And luckily, if you take a look at the energy type on Domino, she's a shield character. So all you have to do is roll a fist and her on her single shield or something like that, and you can use this ability fairly easily. Plus, it allows you to do some crazy things. So let's say you roll an Atlantis on the actual character face or the action face, and you roll Domino and do the Energize thing. And eventually she comes up either on the character face or on the single shield. Because remember, anytime you roll these two faces right here, it's not going to matter. They're just going to re-roll. So you're going to end up with this or this. You're never getting double shields from her. I don't think there's any time that would actually happen, double shields. Anyway, so the point being, you roll her and you roll Atlantis. Well, after you've done the Energize effect and you know she comes up on one of her faces, you just play Atlantis and you prep her and do it all again next turn. And the interesting thing about that is not only do you prep her, you can prep any of your other dice that you roll. So all of your sidekicks, you can start bag thinning by using this Atlantis to put them all into prep. The only thing you have to really think about is how do you use this again the following turn. And a great way to do that, of course, is the same way that you use Yawning Portal and prep Yawning Portal over, is using Supreme Intelligence. So you pop it doesn't really matter which one, you pop a Supreme Intelligence down, you use the global to move over the Atlantis, and you can have this sort of cycle where as long as you're rolling Atlantis and you're using the domino, using Atlantis to prep the domino, you can just keep doing that each turn. Now, Domino is 3, so you do kind of need a way to reduce her cost, and everyone knows the way that you can reduce costs nowadays, and that's a Yawning Portal. And Yawning Portal makes a ton of sense as well, because not only do you have this 2-cost action, which works wonderfully for Supreme Intelligence, you also can use it to purchase your Domino. You can also move it over with Atlantis. You can also feel the sidekick with Atlantis, reducing the cost of Domino, or anything else you want to purchase, like another Atlantis or another Yawning Portal. So it works wonderfully in that sense, right? Those are all four of those pieces are just wonderful in concert. So where did I go after this? Well, I had some ideas. First of all, I thought to myself, let's say we're going through this whole process where we're rolling like 3 dominoes in a turn. And they come up as character faces, but I don't have an Atlantis to prep them over. I can either let them go to used, but I can't move them over with Supreme Intelligence because they don't cost 2 or less. They cost 3. So I'd have to get them back through the bag. So my solution for that is either I have something that's super bag thinning, which this kind of is, or I have a way to remove them from the field after I field them. And the way that you would do that, and this is what I ended up choosing, is the Nihilor Global. Nihilor if you mispronounce it like I do sometimes. Nihilor Global has this global that says, pay a mask. Once per turn, you may KO a character die you control, which means you can just hang on to a mask, wait for your opponent to pass priority. You can see if you need to keep a character for blocking purposes. If you do that, then you don't have to pay the mask. You just use her to block because she's going to get KO'd on that 2 defense, most likely, unless she blocks a sidekick. And if they don't look like they're going to be aggressive this turn, then you just KO her yourself before they pass the turn over to you. Once you've done that, you're good to go, right? Like you just re-roll her and she's prepped and all that sort of stuff. So I thought to myself, that's an easy sort of shoe-in. Now I only have 3 of these, so I'll put 3 there. I didn't actually have the second team pack fully. We did a draft, so I ended up with 3 instead of 4. I think I have 4 of the 3 of those on the team, something like that. It doesn't really matter. 2 of those Yawning Portals. Now, what else goes on to a team like this? Well, it's it's a bit of a win more, but this is a hilarious addition because I wanted to just put it in there. So how can we make this even crazier? Well, let's see. We have dominoes that are rolling. They do the Energize thing, and then we prep them over with Atlantis. So they go to the prep area along with whatever else we rolled, like, you know, another Atlantis that didn't come up as the Atlantis face, or you don't need 2 Atlantises at the same turn because you've moved everything you want with the first one. If you have 2 in circulation. So is there a way that we can access them again during a turn? And the answer is yes. Momentum is the way that we access them during the turn. It's a 1-cost action that says roll any number of dice from your prep and place them in your reserve. And then if you rolled the double burst on the basic action, then you get to draw and place in your prep area, which is pretty cool. Place a die from your bag in your prep area. So what does this mean? Well, this means you can have just a wombo combo turn where you roll 2 momentums on their action faces, 2 Atlantises on their action faces, and 3 dominoes all on the same turn. You get the dominoes to do their Energize thing until they come up character or single energy face. You use an Atlantis to put them over. You use a momentum to roll that. You do their triggers again until they come up character or energy. You use Atlantis to put them back over there. You use the second momentum to bring them back out and roll them all again. At which point you've dealt some amount of damage. Who knows how much, because this is all just for fun, but that's absolutely stinking hilarious. And so I thought, you know what? That's what we're going to do. We're just going to go absolutely crazy with this. We're not trying to build a competitive team. We're trying to do something stupid. So let's do something stupid and just like full commit to it. So that's what I did. Now, this leaves 3 team slots and 1 basic action left. So what do we do? Well, I actually went the more casual route, and I had some interesting, like, more casual things. Now, one of the things that I think is kind of important, and it adds another global, which kind of stinks because I don't like giving too many nowadays, is this. Sararak, uncommon, has the pay 1 once per turn reroll target action die in your reserve or field zone. That's interesting. You could reroll stuff into the field zone. I wonder if you could do something with that. Continuous. Wow, that is totally the most tangent. That was like tangent right there. My brain totally went somewhere else. But anyway, so you can use this to re-roll anything that you miss. This is basically a consistency maker. It kind of evens you out. A lot of people don't play this anymore just because they compare this to Parallax for action dice, which it totally is. Parallax, the old global, pay an energy and re-roll whatever you want from the field or from the reserve. And it is sort of like that, but when you're playing this many actions, and that's kind of your win condition, is rolling domino and then prepping the domino, or rolling domino and then momentuming the domino after you've prepped it, that sort of stuff. or Yawning Portal so that you can buy the dominoes cheaper because you fielded a sidekick or two. It makes a ton of sense why you would want some form of consistency. Plus, it's so action-based that in the off chance that someone is playing Scarlet Witch, you have some recourse. That, you know, if for some reason you decided to show up to some like event and someone brought Scarlet Witch and you're like, I just brought this domino team, then at least you have a way around some switch. So that leaves 2 slots. And so here are the 2 kind of more fun options that I chose. So the first one is another, there we go. Oh, wait, K. No, that's a J, K. Just don't type in your lap. The first one is another Energized character. It's Magic. Energy from Limbo. Energized, draw and roll a die. Now it's a 4 cost, but it does get reduced. It's got insanely good defense stats. But it does seem a bit pointless because you're not really using it for any effect. Like, it draws and rolls you a die. My thought being it's just more draw, more cycle through your bag, so maybe this has some use. Now, I have played around with the team a few times, rolled it solitaire style, and then also rolled it against a couple of people, and I've never bought this. So this is where the team is right now, but I will swap this out for most likely an Attune character. Something like Yuan-Ti Pureblood Common makes the most sense. So this is probably where that's going to go. And then the final slot that I have is an interesting one. Xavier's School, the Rare, is another 2-cost action. It's a mask. It says draw dice from your bag until you draw an X-Men character die or your bag is empty. Prep one of the drawn dice and add the rest to your use pile. So what does this do? Well, you play this action and it literally draws you Domino, and then it gets rid of the rest of it, and it preps your Domino. Or if you haven't bought Domino or Domino's not in circulation, it pulls every die in your bag and you can prep Atlantis or Yawning Portal. I have actually used this in a couple of scenarios and I found it interesting, though largely unnecessary, I guess is the best way to say it, because it doesn't really provide more utility than these 2 do. This one allows you to buy the Domino and prep it or put it in the bag. This one allows you to cycle. I did try some lines with this, and it is kind of interesting. So this is a fun little casual sort of caveat that you can mess around with if you wanted to try this team out for yourself. Now, that leaves one more basic action slot, and let me show you what I did with that, and this is a pretty easy one. Create food and water. This is another form of prep or bag management, and it allows you to use Atlantis a little bit better. Let's say you only had one sidekick in the field that you can affect. Well, this allows you to use the effect, put a sidekick from your bag, hopefully, into the used, and then you have one to prep, which you have to do first, and then one to field, which you do second. So that's how I rounded the team out. It's a little bit of bag management. It's a little bit of utility with the Atlantis. All in all, a pretty good final slot. So what do you think about this team? Do you think it's possible to roll 20 Domino Energize effects and win the game before someone kills you? Are you a fan of the construction, and how would you take this team and change it even more? Let me know in a comment below, because I would love to sit down with some people and play this. Like I said, this is one of those teams that I am kind of locked in on right now just because it's so silly. It's so ridiculous. I want to see how I could take something that's just this silly and make it, I don't want to say competitive, but consistent, I guess is the best way to say it. If you like this video, leave me a comment, hit the little like and subscribe button because it'll provide you a little notification on when my next video goes up. If you want to support me on Patreon, head over to the Patreon link down there. Any proceeds that I get from Patreon, I'm going to put to upgrading the camera, or I'm going to put to going to events and recording stuff, or I'm going to put to creating some giveaways, because we are approaching the 1,500 subscriber mark, which is amazing because that was, I think, the goal for the end of the year. The fact that we're approaching that so quickly means I'm doing a pretty nice little giveaway. I'd like to give you guys something to say thank you for subscribing. So anybody that supports me on Patreon will just make that pricing a little bit better. It also might be one of those scenarios where I could maybe give, like, if this was like a raffle or something, maybe give an extra entry for anybody that's a Patreon member. I'll think about that. Yeah, I'll think about that. We'll talk about that soon later. As always, everybody, thanks for watching.